Okay, the recording started. So we're going to share the screen first. Okay, this is the poem that we're working on. It's poem number 50 from Divan Shams. As I mentioned a minute ago, Divan Shams, Rumi has two major work, Divan Shams and Masnavi. This is from Divan Shams, poem number 50. Now we have gone through this before, so we are in the middle, but it doesn't matter where you get in, you will get your blessings from the poem and from Rumi teaching. It doesn't matter. So what I do usually, I read in Persian, I read in Farsi the poem, and then I do the translation. And anytime, as I mentioned, this is will be conducted in a discussion format, so you can uh, jump in and make it a nice and entertaining dialogue and an interesting dialogue that everybody enjoys. ای بگرفته از وفا گوش کران چرا چرا بر من خسته کرده ای روی گران چرا چرا. I am reading the Persian version of it because this is how it came to Rumi, and I hope the music would uh, attract you, because the music, the words in Persian or in Farsi are they're very well said and beautifully uh, done. And the word in the case of Rumi is sacred. It's because it comes from a sacred person, so everything which comes from him is sacred, which is coming from the Almighty through him. The meaning is in the five following verses, human being ask question from God. Oh, you beloved, why you're not loyal to me and running away from me? And why you're uncaring to me who is hurt by your indifference? So in these poems, he repeats why to encourage us to think about our situation and understand the reason we are trapped and distant from our beloved and life. Here, Rumi asks these questions in order to bring us to the point so we can understand why we are separated from the source. بر دل من که جای توست کارگه وفای توست هر نفسی همی زنی زخم سنان چرا چرا. Why you're at every moment hurting my heart, which is your place and location and should be your workshop. So basically Rumi, uh, representing all of us, the humanity, is asking question from the divine, and the reason he's asking the question, he wants us to bring uh, to the to this understanding that if we are away from Almighty, from the divine, it's not because he is not, because God is not paying attention to us, but exactly the opposite. We are the ones who have turned our back to God's light. گوهر نو به گوهری برد سبق ز مشتری جان و جهان همی بری جان و جهان چرا چرا. You are like a new jewel, and your newness and value are better than stars and more desirable than jewelry for a buyer. Oh, why you are my word and life. Why you're infatuated my word and life. Basically, he's saying that God, you have infatuated me, you have captured me. Then here he says, چشمه خضر و کوثری زاب حیات خوشتری زاتش هجر تو منم خشک دهان چرا چرا. You are the fountain and the spring of eternity and infinity, God, the divine. You gave me a lot of everything, and you are more delicious than the water and juice of life. Why, from the heat of your love and separation, I am so thirsty and have a dry mouth. So he says, if here Rumi says, representing all humanity, he says, you are the fountain and the source of life, and why I am thirsty. So if it's like we are sitting next to a fountain and there is a lot of water and we are thirsty, why we're thirsty? He's asking the question. He wants us to bring to the understanding that we are the one who have been separated from God. مهر تو جان نهان بود، مهر تو بی نشان بود، در دل من ز بهر تو نقش و نشان چرا چرا. Oh your love, all your love, life, all your love, I'm sorry, all your life, like life is hidden and concealed. Your love is without any form and signs. Why in my heart and inner being I imagine you as a form and imaginary face. So he says you are not a form, a you're not a face, but why in my inner being I see you as a sign, as a form. Why I don't see you as a spirit, as like soul, like something with no form and no sign. You see, that's the, the short answer is because we are not connected. If we were connected to the source, to the divine, we would see divine as not a form, not a sign, but pure soul. گفت که جان جان منم دیدن جان طمع مکن ای بنموده روی تو صورت جان چرا. Now here the divine answers back. He says, God life told me I'm the life of the life, and you should not try to understand and see me with your senses. So here Rumi tries to solve the problem, solve the puzzle, telling us that the reason you don't see me, because no, don't try to see me with your five senses. It's not possible. You cannot see me that way. Then human being answers God and asks him, "Oh, you have shown your essence in everybody and everything. Why? I cannot see you naked from your sign in everybody and everything." That's the last poem. ای تو به نور مستقل وی تو ز اختران خجل بست و دلی میان دل زبر گمان چرا. Then human being asks the divine, "Oh, you are alive to my light and stars and are ashamed of their light when they realize how shining is your light. Why? Due to your delusion, you become doubtful." Okay, it's a mouthful. Let me tell you. I understand if you're the first time you're reading Rumi, it's very hard to understand uh, because his language is different and it takes time for you to familiarize yourself with his way of thinking and his style of communication. But you have to give yourself time and don't rush, don't hurry because it takes time. Like he has a profound way of looking at life, and you have to give yourself a little bit of a time to understand. Now, in order to uh, uh, make it easy for all of us, what I've done is, hold on, can we reach the poems in English, or can you tell which specific poem is this that you're doing? Okay, Ozan, this is from poem number 50 from uh, Divan Shams. It is not. I don't know the translation. I have translated. It is not a good translation. As you know, English is my second language. I was born into Farsi, Persian, but this is the best I can do, and I'm not gonna wait to become perfect to do this because I never be. Don't let the perfect be enemy of the good. If it's good, I'll do it, and I hope it is good enough. But it is. I know it's hard, especially like for Julie because uh, she's not she hasn't had exposure to it. But just be patient. Let me show you something, guys. I think it's going to help. I hope at least. I have some diagram which is pretty interesting, and I want you to see it. Okay, this is not the one I'm looking, but this is good too. But we can get to that. Okay, just give me a second, please. Let me find it. This is something good, I hope, for all of you guys, especially for the ones who are the first time, and we have few of you. So let me show you this. Okay, this is from Rumi's uh, work, basically, and Mr. Shahbazi, who's the one which I am uh, uh, as the he's the source of the material. He does it this way, and I learned from him. This is circle of identification. Okay, this is circle of identification. When we come to the world, when as a child, when we were born to the world, we have it's a we have something. We have a core inside of us. Please pay attention. We have a core. First, uh, when we come, there is nothing in our core. We come as uh, as like a canvas with no paint on it. If that makes sense to you guys. So, but as soon as we come to the world and we get socialized in sociology, they call them socialized, meaning a child learns how to become a human being from his parents, his siblings, relatives, friends, everybody. So we put these things in the middle, in the core. These are things, everything that I can think of, myself, my spouse, the rest of my family, money, very important. It's major in the core of human beings. Everything that I value, profession, social status, roles, hobbies, entertainment, friend, enemy, religious belief, political and social beliefs. Everything I put these things in my core. Okay. So when I came, I was nothing in my core. Then as I social, I do- then I as I become older, as I age, I get these things from my surroundings and put it in my core, right? So all these values goes to my core. Attachment, I call it attachment. So this attachment goes to my core, and I get my sense of security, my guidance, my power, and my intelligence and intellect from these attachments which are inside my core, right? So these are the things that I put as that me or my people around me, my family, my parents, my siblings, my relatives, my friends, my surroundings put into me. One of the things that we all of us believe, we think money is very important. Money is essential for life, which is by the way is true, but the point is that we put it into the core. We bring it to the core. That's the problem. If these things which are important in their own place, if they go into the core, they cause trouble. Because the core, the way God created, the divine created us, he wants nothing in the core but himself. That's the key. God doesn't want anything in the core. This is by the way Rumi. This is not me. This is Sufis. I'm just translating. This is what it is. We put this attachment into the core, into our center, and that causes trouble for us. Now, when we put these uh, attachments into our core, then out of this, we create the ego, which in Sufi language terminology, we call it nafs, but it's ego. So ego is created by the movement of the attachments in our core. And this is where the trouble starts. The ego causes the trouble for all of us. If you look at your life, if you have been around like me, some of you guys have been around for a while. If you go back and look at your life and review your life, and you see that the trouble always start from the core, which is from the this attachment which created the ego, and the ego is the uh, point of trouble and a cause of all issues that we have. Now, Sufis and
Nigga,
Rumi,
nigga, 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 nigga. Yeah, nigga, I'm a nigga. Ha, Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil, nigga, Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil, Sieg Heil.
okay, no problem. All right, so do I make sense? Like Julie, it make sense to you what I just mentioned? Please turn on your mute, my dear.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, it makes so much sense to me. Our persona is something that we build our whole life, and then we learn how to deconstruct it through the second half of our life, almost, so that we can become more pure with source again, right? Like,
Exactly.
so that we can always recognize our higher self within ourselves.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Thank you so much, Julie. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Thank God that you got it. It is, yeah. So this attachment, we put this attachment or our surroundings are uh, put it into our core, and then it causes trouble for us, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's go to this one. Now this is circle of nothingness. So we identify with this thing, identification. We identify with these things in our core. Now we go to circle of nothingness. Now what we are supposed to do is to push these attachments from our core to the outside, right? We need to push it to the outside. So then we're going back from the way we were before we put these attachments to our core. We go back here. So we push all these things which are important in its own places, but we put them outside. So our core is empty again. It's core empty again. And we have nothingness at the in the core. So everything went out. So here, when there is nothing, when everything which was here went to the outside, then the divine will come back. So now, after this happens, we get our sense of security, guidance, power, and intelligence and intellect from the from the divine, which is the way it's supposed to be. We shouldn't get our uh, Julie, by the way, would you please turn when you want to speak, unmute yourself. Otherwise, please mute yourself. Thank you. We get background noise.
All right.
Thank you. When you want to speak, please unmute yourself. By the way, for everybody. Uh, so it's. I hope this is clear for you guys. Now, let me bring a little bit of more of these other pictures, because I think picture is worth thousand words, right? And let me tell you the one that I like a lot. This is okay. This is what I want you to talk to you guys about. So when we have attachment at the middle of our core, and we get sense of security, guidance, power, and intelligence and intellect from the attachment. Now there is three attributes which are added. This is called triangle of attachment. Triangle of attachment. We get judgment. What is judgment? When an event happens or we meet somebody or anything, we make a judgment about it. We judge things. We judge people. We judge events. Something is good. If it helps me with my attachment, it's good. If I increases my money, it's good. That's a judgment, right? If the money is in my core as an attachment, then I like it, and I judge it to be good. But if it's bad, if say it's the opposite, it reduces my amount of money, which is my attachment, then I judge it bad. It brings judgment. It brings resistance. So if something happens to my life which is against my attachment, I resist it. Somebody comes and they say something, or say, I think I'm a very good person in my egoic mind, in my ego, and somebody says, no, you're not that good of a person, then I resist it, right? I say, I push it out. I push back, as they say. I push back because it is against my attachment, my core. And the other thing, it happens, we attach to temporary thing and we are bound by time. Okay, that's the third attribute. And the other thing, it causes time, past and future, and it brings material intelligence, which is, by the way, is necessary for a degree, you know, in our lives. So this is the triangle of attachment. Then from here we go to the myth of the of egoic mind, or the ego. So as you can see, we bring this triangle to here, and we add uh, this rectangle around it. Now, what happens here? As we said here, we have past and future when we have the egoic mind. Why we call it the myth? Because in reality, egoic mind is imaginary. It's an illusion. Please pay attention here. It's very important. This is a Sufi teaching, by the way. So the egoic mind is a myth. What does it mean? It's a myth, meaning it is not real. It is an imagination and it's an illusion. The ego doesn't exist. The ego is creation of the mind. That's why we call it egoic mind. The ego is a creation of the mind. So I have another nice uh, illustration which I want to show you, but let's do this one first, and it shows you how the mind, egoic mind, is created. So we already discussed this. Now we have attachment to temporary things. Now there are some other attributes which comes out of this. First, we are creating enemies and looking for them. If you have an ego, as a person, as a country, as a society, you create enemies and you look for them. If there is none, you make one in your mind just to have it. That's very interesting, isn't it? You create problems. The egoic mind creates problems and looks for them. Every ego has problems around them. They make problems. If it even doesn't exist, they create one. They're creating obstacles and looking for them. So that is this is the work of the ego. That's what it does to us. We are understanding it, so we make sure we ensure that it doesn't do it to us, because it's a mechanism. It works. This is the way it works in the system. That's how it manifests itself. That's how it operates in our psychology. So uh, in order to be able to deal with it, you have to know it, right? If you want to deal with something, you have to know it. So this is a good thing to know. Now, this is what we want to become. This is where we are. This is what we want to become. The truth of being human. Here we have attachment, and we get sense of security, guidance, power, and intellect and intelligence from the attachment. As we mentioned, we pushed it to the outside. So these are the attachments, are not in the core anymore. There is nothing in the core. So if there is nothing in the core, the divine will go there. There is nothing there, because these attachments was pushing the divine out. Now it's gone, so the divine is there now. So we get our sense of security, guidance, power, and intellect and intelligence from the core, which is the divine. Okay. Now what it does, we get gratitude and abstinence. Gratitude for the ability to become godlike. That's the gratitude. That's the best gratitude. There's two types of gratitude. Okay, if I have a house, I have food in front of me, I have, security. That I am happy about. I have gratitude for it, which is good. But Rumi says the best gratitude is the capability, the potential of us becoming Yeah, Hitch, that's true, Khanum Zahra. Yes, that's true. Yeah, Hitch, that's true. Yeah, so yeah, Zahra asked a question in the yeah, this is Hitch in Farsi, that's true. So so we have gratitude and we are abstinence. We are abstinence from allowing these attachments to come to our core. We have patient and we have abstinence on this side. Abstinence is so important. It's mentioned on here and here, and we are patient. We have joy without a cause. Joy without a cause, meaning that we are not joyful for a reason. Some people, I mean, you get some money, if you like money and you're joyful, and the joy disappears pretty soon. Or you want to be famous, you become famous, and the joy goes away. This is joy without a cause. With no cause, you're happy. You are in eternal present. You're not in the past or future. You're always here and now. That's why being at the moment, we call him it's called we call it the treasure of presence. Treasure of presence. You are present at every moment, and you have spiritual intelligence. We had material intelligence here, right? We have spiritual intelligence here. And now, what is the attributes here? Enthusiasm for creation, ability to create. As soon as you got to this point, you are creating. You are attached to the source, which is the divine, which is very creative, and so you basically get the creativity from the source, from the divine. You have joy without a cause, and you have detachment and returning to this moment. This is the goal that we are going to, hopefully, all of us, God willing, we're going to get to. All right, so let me show you one more thing that I think is interesting. Oh, we already did this one. Okay, if I can find that one that I'm looking for. All right. Exhibit. Here you go. Okay, this is good. Yeah. How did egoic mind came into being? Okay, this is based on Sufi teachings and originally uh, from Quran. Okay, uh, human beings are made of God spirit plus human body made up of soil and stinking mud. This is stinking mud is the term that Quran uses, stinking mud. So we are made of, all of us are made of a combination of God's spirit and soil and stinking mud. Okay, that's why we are in trouble, because we can go from this side to one extreme to the other, from the pure of the pure to the dirtiest of the dirty. See, that's what it is. So human being is a combination, is a mixture of God's spirit and soil and stinking mud. So we have the human. Then from human being, when it was built, when it was made, when it was created by the divine, one we have two things coming out of human being: soul and egoic mind. I will tell you, this is how it shows the egoic mind came to into being. The soul took after God's spirit, and the egoic mind took after soil and stinking mud. Now, what is egoic mind? It's I, my name, my belongings, my identity. Everything starts with the I and my. That's your egoic mind. That's your egoic mind. Everything has I and my in it is your egoic mind. Just remember that. And then, uh, out of this egoic mind, there comes lust for everything, pursuing life. Now, lust is not only like sexual lust, excuse my friend, it's every lust for everything. Lust for money, lust for fame, lust for this, lust for that, lust for those attachments, which is pursuing what you like, and anger. is rejecting dislikes, and the Sufis are telling us you have to keep it in moderation. This is what it is. All right. I hope these exhibits, these pictures showed you the juice and the jest of our Sufi teaching. This is the jest. I thought the the poem was kind of profound. It is if you get to know Rumi and read about him and get to know him, you will understand that. But it takes time. So I thought maybe for somebody who is starting these pictures, they say pictures is uh, more than explains better than thousands of words. That's what I thought. So I brought this so to explain. Is it helping you guys? Julie, did it help you?
Yes, very good.
Niru, yes, good, good, good. So this is I because you guys are new to this concept. That's why I brought this in. Now let's go back to poem and already now. So what we do, we already this part I have already done it, and if you're interested, you can go back to my YouTube channel, which is already in. I have put the links on the meetup description announcement. You can go there. We were here last time. You can go and read it. So let's do this. Uh, Now this is explaining this poem that what we just met. It's creating it's creating like a composition that it's hopefully going to help you. All right. خاموش سنا و لابه کم کن که از غیب رسد لنترانی. Be quiet and don't pray or cry because from the metaphysics come the message that you cannot see me. This is for somebody who wants to see the Almighty. Divan Shams poem number 2756. You cannot see me relates to a verse in Quran regarding Prophet Moses. Moses had a meeting with God. He probably was going through his midlife crisis and his wife was pregnant and the weather was cold and probably his mood and emotion was lifeless and cold. He is looking for fire and he saw a light from distance. When he approaches the light, he realizes it is a tree which emits light. The tree tells him, I am your creator. Then Moses tells peace. Then Moses tells, please reveal yourself. And the voice tells him, you cannot see me. The above verse tells us the same thing. As long as you have ego, you cannot see God. But we insist to see God with our five senses. You see, remember we talked about this in one of the verses. This is the explanation. So we cannot see. Yeah, Zahra Khanum says, Divist. Zahra Khanum, read this please for everybody. Oh, it's in Farsi. I'm sorry. دیویست در اسرار تو که از وی نگون شد کار تو بربند این بر محکمش که صبر. Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, we have to translate it for our English speaking audience. Anyway, she has beautiful verse from Rumi. Okay, this is from a verse from Quran, and I don't know, maybe something close to it is in Bible too. I don't know, but probably. And when Moses came, this is chapter 7, verse number 143. And when Moses came to our appointed meeting, and his Lord spoke to him, he said, my Lord, show me that I may look at you. He said, you will not see me, but look at the mountain. If it stays in its place, then you will see me. But when his Lord manifested himself to the mountain, he smashed it, and Moses fell down unconscious. Then when he recovered, he said, glory be to you. I repent to you, and I am the first of the believers. Now, the Sufis, they believe that the mountain was the mountain of Moses' ego. And as soon as God manifested himself to the mountain, which is his ego, it was smashed. That's the time that he saw it. The reason we cannot connect to the Almighty is because of the ego. The ego prevents us from connecting to the source. If you want to connect to the source, which is the source of life and joy and wisdom and everything you can imagine, you have to diminish the ego. And that's basically the work of a spiritual path. This is this is the spiritual path. In order to connect to the source, we have to diminish the ego. That's it. Therefore, Moses asked God to show himself, and God answered that you cannot see me as long as you have ego. And when God manifested himself to the Moses mountain of ego, the ego is smashed. If we expand our hearts, God will reveal himself and will smash our ego. So in order to now what we need to do in order to smash our ego is to keep in touch with these teachings anywhere any way you can. This is not something you can do twice a week, I mean once every week, and then it's not enough. It has to be a daily practice. It's like going to the gym. You cannot say, oh, I go to the gym today and I don't go anymore, right? If you want to have results, if you want to have a healthy body, you have to go to the gym consistently. That's the key. Consistently. So this is the same thing in the spiritual path, in spiritual exercise. That's a body exercise. In a spiritual exercise, we have to do it consistently. 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 This is the word that we have to repeat to ourselves. Tell yourself, I have to be consistent in this path. If I want to connect to the source, which is the source of my joy, my wisdom, my happiness, everything good that you can think of, I have to be consistent in my spiritual path. I have to read some spiritual Rumi, say. You can read Rumi. Thank God we have it is available on internet www.masnavi.net. You can read Masnavi in English or Farsi or other languages. Probably it's there. I know of English and Farsi and Persian. And it is the English translation is from Nicholson, Reynard Nicholson. He was he passed away in 1940s, I guess, and he was a Persian scholar, British gentleman. He did a great job. You can read him every day, every day. As long as the more, the better. I tell you. If you cannot do it, just one page is. If you cannot do 2 page, do one. If you cannot do one, do half a page. If you cannot do 1 page, do one line. Whatever. Just to be consistent, be in touch with these teachings, and God willing, you will remove the ego, diminish your ego, and you become connected to the source. That's what we are here for. That's what God says. I created you to connect to me. Is that God? That's God what He says. Not me. Check it out. Check it out. It says you'll go. You'll your job. You are here because and then the other thing that I just learned recently from Rumi in Masnavi, he says, if you have the desire and the want to connect to me, I remove all other pains from you. And God says, I remove because if anything else we do, it's going to cause pain for us. Anything, I don't care what you do, if it's not for the purpose that you were created, which is connecting to the divine. Anything else we do, we're going to get pain and suffering from it, because the divine wants to bring us to the point that we realize that we have to connect to him or her, for that matter. And uh, so, yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Julie. I'm sorry, you raised up your. Go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to add on to that when we lose our ego and quiet the mind, we open our heart and learn that unconditional love. and love is the answer, and that's where Rumi embodied love, and he recognized that the divine is love. And so when we find our way back to being heart-centered, that is really where we find our true nature, I think.
Beautiful. Well said,
Yeah.
my dear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah, love. Everything is love. Yeah, you're absolutely right. If there is so much love in Rumi. By the way, if you read uh, Rumi and you practice it and it's not just the learning it and not doing anything about it. If you practice what you learned, what you're preaching, what you have learned from him, it will bring love to your everything in your life, everything, your relationships, your connections, your contacts, everything will be full of love because he is all about love. You're absolutely right. هر که غم دین برگزید باقی غم ها خدا از وی برید. Very good خانم پستو. She found the yeah. Whoever chose the uh, chose because let me translate good for you for the English speaking for you guys who speak English. Whoever chose the uh, the pain of connection, because connection is painful, because you have to get rid of the ego, and getting rid of the ego which we are used to is pain. It has pain. He says, Rumi says, if you choose the pain of connection, the other pains, God will take away the other pains. God will take away the other pains. I don't know, Pastor, did I say it right? Yeah. Yeah. Whoever chose the pain of connection to God, the other pains will be diminished. Very good. Thank you. Good job. So that's what Rumi telling us. So let's choose the major pain, because we are going to different attachments and it creates pain. You see, people go after pain, after fame, they become famous, they get a lot of pain. They go after money, they get money, they have a lot of pain. They go after XYZ, they go after a person, they get the person, create pain for them. That's why, 50% of marriages end up in divorce, right? Because they create the joy of marriage turns into pain of divorce, right? So here Rumi says, uh, he says, just don't be stupid. Don't go to these attachments and get a lot of pain. The only thing worthy of pain is connecting to the divine. The only thing worthy of pain, choose this pain. This is the good pain. The other one are bad pain or useless pain. This is the major. This is a good pain. This is the pain will heal you. The other pains will make you sick. I think that's the best way I can say it. Pain of connection is related to passing through ego. Absolutely. Pastor Khan says, beautiful.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna jump in. Sorry, that Rumi able to really encapsulate that longing and sorrow that we feel in trying to find source, and we confuse that in our relationships with loved ones, and trying to make them that image of what we imagine our connection, our own soul's home to be, which is only with the divine. And that's where so much pain, because we want them to be
the Almighty, the divine.
Yeah.
You want them to be divine. They cannot be divine. Nobody,
No.
nobody can. Beautiful, Julie. Nobody can replace the Almighty because 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 he's the only one. Yeah, God is she's the only one. He or she is the one. Yeah, that's a very good job. Thank you. Nobody can replace the Almighty. Nobody can replace the divine. The only one is the divine. So, and by the way, that doesn't mean that you don't have relationship with others. You have beautiful relationship. As a matter of fact, If you connect to the divine, your relationships improve million times because because by connecting to the divine, you get the energy and the wisdom of the divine, and you invest it in other relationship. You see, that's the beauty of Rumi. Rumi is the wisest of the wise, the best of the best, the best of the best. You cannot find better than this. You can. I'm telling you. Please, uh, trust me. I have done my homework. I have gone to different places, and I have studied different things, and I came to the conclusion at last that this is the best of the best. This is where it gets you to your destination, which is none, by the way. There is no destination. It's always traveling toward the the infinity which never ends. So, yeah, it's already 8 o'clock. And if you want me to go on, I will go on. If you want me to stop, I'll stop. It's up to you guys.
I would like to go further.
Okay, so I'll go further then. ای تو به نور مستقل بیض تو اختران خجل بس دو دلی میان دل زبرگمان چرا. This is a word. This is one of the verses from Rumi. Oh, you who are alive to my light, and stars are ashamed of their light when they realize how shining is your light. Why do you, due to your delusion, you become doubtful? Now, this is the explanation. Your light, every one of us, your light. This is I'm sorry, not you. I'm doing it fast, so sometimes I make a mistake. I do apologize. You can tell you have studied lots. Yeah. What are you saying, Julie? You can tell you have studied lots? What does it mean? What do you mean by that term?
Oh, Sufism, that you have studied
Yeah.
Rumi and
Yeah.
Sufism a lot. Thank
Yeah.
you so much that
You're
you're able to.
welcome. Yeah, my dad, Julie, my dad was a Sufi master. I was lucky. I was born into
Oh.
this. Yeah, my dad was a Sufi master, and I was exposed to it. Thank goodness.
Lovely.
Yes. Your light is so strong that the stars are ashamed of their light. Your light. You, Julie, you, Niru, you, Zara Khanum, you, Parastu, you, Bita, I, Akbar. We have so much light in us that the stars are ashamed. Here, our own light is the God, soul, and the spirit which is within us. And when we try to get the light from our worldly attachments that are ashamed of the true light within us. As a matter of fact, the light that we hope to get from our attachments comes from our eternal, internal, and godly light. We give light to these attachments, not the other way around. Then Rumi asks, why you're doubtful and believe and hope to get light from your attachments and don't access your true godly internal light. Yep. او درون دامی می نهد جان تو نه این جهت نه آن جهت. He says he is within the trap of God. A person, human beings are within the trap of God, and is laying a trap by your life. Neither that trap will escape destruction, nor will this man. Now, this is the explanation. This is a little bit too hard to understand, but listen to this section, please. Our godly intelligence is trapped in our body. Remember in that exhibit I showed you the body, the mixture of body and God's spirit? Our godly intelligence is trapped in our body and physical being. And then we set up another trap for ourselves, which is ego. Therefore, we are trapped twice. So we are already trapped when we come to the world. This God's spirit is trapped into the body. And the body, don't think just this body. I mean, thinking about the mind, the ego. It's trapped into the ego and to the body. And then Rumi says you put another trap. I'm sorry, another trap, which is your ego. So you put it is already in one trap. you add another trap on top of it. So there's two trap now. Now here, Rumi uh, identifies God. The best he can say. از همه اوهام و تصویرات دور نور 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 نور. He says God is far beyond all conceptions and imaginations. God is the light of light of light of light of light. So here Rumi says that anything that we can, any imagination we have in a picture from God in our mind, the divine is beyond it, beyond. So it cannot come to any imagination. The imagination cannot capture it, basically. No imagination can capture the true being of the divine. It is the light of 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 the light. And we can go on forever, as a matter of fact, but we have to stop yourself. You cannot say light and light and light. So whatever we think of in our mind for the divine, go above and beyond it. It's not what is beyond it. Much more beyond it. غیر نطق و غیر ایما و سجل 100,000 ترجمت خیزد ز دل. But I have the address of each verse. This is from book 6, verse 2146. This is book 1, verse 1208. Without speech and without sign or pointing, hundreds of thousands of your communications arise from the heart. So go ahead, Julie, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just thinking when you're talking about the light of the light of the light and how humans are spirit in our body in form and the dirt as well, right? And so the universe is energy and energy is light and matter. So because we're in the material realm, we're beings of matter, but as we raise our vibration, we become more beings of light. And that is the whole enlightening process of becoming more closer to the frequency and vibration of spirit. So I just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you. Very good. Thank you. Good job. So without speech and without sign or pointing, hundreds of thousands of communications arise from the heart. A lot of energy and communications arises from our expanded heart. When we are communicating to each other, when with two people, two human beings sit in front of each other, the words is the lowest form of communication. Rumi says the word that we talk to each other is the lowest way of communicating. There are hundreds, he says hundreds of thousands, means a lot. That's a sign of a lot of other ways that we communicate to each other. That's why I'm sure you have been in the presence of people who, when you sit with them without saying anything, they create joy in you. They cause joy. You feel joyful, you feel good. And there are cases that you go and sit and close to somebody, sit in front of somebody, or communicate, or and it's exactly the opposite, right? That's what he says here. از قرین بی قول و از قرین بی قول و گفتگوی او دل نهان از خوی او. یا پرستو خانم, I think this is the, would you please do it again?
از قرین بی قول و گفتگوی او بدزدد دل نهان از خوی او.
Oh, okay, good. It says here, Parastu Khanum says something nice when we translate to the best of my ability. I usually work on the translation for a while, but now she's putting posting stuff on the chat, which is no problem. As Qarin bi qawlu, he says from being close to somebody without talk and dialogue, you are the effect of accompanying of others. That's good. You are basically you are stealing traits and uh, traits from each other. Basically, what he says, Rumi, it's in poetic way. It says, if be careful, that's the lesson. Yeah, how our internal violation effect of other people. That's very good. That's good. Thank you. So basically, the lesson, the moral of this poem is that when be careful who you're sitting with, who you're associating with. That's the English word. Who you're associating with. You associate with the people who have high vibration. If you want to talk in the modern terms, talk to somebody, associate with people who have high energy, who have high vibration, who have pure heart, who have pure spirit, pure souls. That's what he said. Very good. Thank you. خانم پرستو. بلکه اغلب رنج ها را چاره است چون به جدجویی بیاید آن به دست. Nay, most pains have a cure. When you seek in earnest, it will come to hand. That's book 3, verse 29-16. Here we realize that most pains come from our egoic mind and lowest self. Fortunately, if we seek the cure in earnest, it will come to us and resolve our points of pain. Okay? So that's what here says, Rumi. There is solution, there is cure, there is healing coming, but we have to go and look for it. We have to be seek the cure in earnest. We have that's what we talked about. Connect without persistency, consistency. Keep in touch, keep going. Don't give up, please. Don't give up a moment. Just keep going. Rumi says, anywhere, any way you can, connect to the source. Anywhere and any way you can. Anyway, anywhere, anyhow you can. هر کجا پستی آب آنجا رود. هر کجا دردی است دوا آنجا رود. Beautiful. When there is پستی. When there is a hole, the water will go into the hole. When there is pain, the cure will go there. Yeah, this is another beautiful verse that Parastu Khanum is posting from Rumi. Beautiful. So if you really, we all have, so in order for us to receive the blessings of the Almighty, of the Divine, we have to be humble. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to be humble, ladies. We have to be humble and let the healing comes from the source to our heart. We say, it's very simple. We say, God, we know we have problems in our heart. We have impurities. Please purify me. Please clean me up. Please make me a better person. Please connect me to yourself. I want to connect to you. That's what you say. Okay, I think that's enough. 8:50. I don't want to overwhelm you. It is most of you guys are first time. I mean, Pastu Khanum or Zahra Khanum, they are
Thank you
already.
so much for
You're welcome. I am sure you guys have.
sharing with us.
You guys have already exposed, but Julie, you're very good feedback and good communication. And Niru, thank you so much. And Beta cannot talk. She's been with us for.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was excellent as
Thank
always.
you.
Thank
No,
you.
it's better now that we have other. The participants are contributing, and you know, we try to make it in a dialogue, right, Bita Khanum?
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so happy. So many people joined us.
Yeah, thank God. That's beautiful.
Thank you
Thank
so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
You're
It was
welcome, ma'am.
very,
Thank you,
very
Pastor Khan.
interesting.
Thank you.
you.
So everybody
Yeah.
have a wonderful time, and please keep in touch and keep working and keep connecting to the source, and may God the divine would connect all of us to his abundance and beauty. هزار شربت شافی به مهر می جوشد از آن شبی گفتی به من که بیما. Oh my God. That's beautiful. I cannot dance with that one. Oh, this is so beautiful. هزار شربت شافی به مهر می جوشد از آن شبی که گفتی به من که بیمارم. This is from Rumi خانم پرستو.
بله بله
به
بله
به.
الان یادم نمیاد شماره بیتشو.
خب اینا
هزار شربت شافی به مهر می جوشد از آن شبی که بگفتی به من که بیمارم.
به به
کافیم بدهم تو را من جمله خیر بی سبب بی واسطه یاری غیر.
به.
کافیم بینان تو را سیری دهم بی سپاه و لشکرت میری دهم بی بهارت نرگس و نسرین دهم بی کتاب و اوستا تلقین دهم. کافیم بی داروت درمان کنم گور را و چاه را میدان کنم. پس هماره سوی معشوقه نگر این به دست توست بشنو ای پدر.
به به
به به به
به
به
به.
آفرین.
آفرین آفرین.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful. I
Sorry,
hope.
Julie, it was in
I
Persian.
was
Yeah,
just going to say that
We
sounded
enjoy
so
it.
lovely.
yeah,
I
it
wouldn't
is
even, you know
Persian.
what? I wouldn't even ask for a translation because it just sounded too beautiful and
Yeah, it
it's
is beautiful.
natural.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's very hard to translate, Julie. But this is a love poem from Rumi to God, and it's
Aw.
just amazing. This guy, this gentleman is just
Okay.
من بگم با
amazing.
وجود اینکه صدام خوب نیست اما خیلی وقتا میخونم یعنی با آواز که میخونی انگار تاثیرش هزاران برابر میشه.
Man, yeah, she sang.
خیلی.
When I sing it to myself, it even it even has more effect and more. It cues. It's better. It sounds better. It's yeah.
In its original language.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
And
yeah.
and
maybe
yeah.
once you have to sing to us and we enjoy it.
Inshallah, inshallah. God, yes, ma'am, I will. You guys come and you know,
Yes, of course.
it's a.
Next
Let me tell you,
section.
the ladies, it's a group journey, really. You know, it's a group journey. Everybody has to contribute and bring their spirit and soul and beauty to the group, to the circle, and then all of us will be elevated together. It's the way. That's why Rumi does this. Rumi could have said, I am already attached, connected. I forget about everybody else, but he didn't do that. He just came back and he said, I have to do this. Yeah, I will do that. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I found your gathering by chance this evening
Yes.
and half an hour ago, half an hour before starting.
Uh-huh.
So I would like to know if you have a weekly gathering
No, it is
or
bi-weekly, Pastor Khan. It's once every 2 week.
Mhm.
So and then yeah, it's once every 2 week, and
I wish I have chance to join you again.
sure, anytime,
Yeah,
anytime you have
thank you.
chance. We are on Meetup, and you can join anytime that you want to. So let me if I can just give me a second.